Hello everybody. So this is going to explain some of the heroes and the proper talents for battle. Obviously, as some of you guys know, you can do many different things in the actual hero tabs based on what you have equipped. So there's one thing I noticed with a lot of these setups I see. You guys have things way higher level than they need to be. The only ones that matter are the ones that are in your appointed. So, for example, let's say I remove my Hypatia and I'm just like, oh, I'll put Joan in. If you see right here alone, you see the big power difference. But just to prove what I'm talking about, it lowered my general power from 26.6 mil to 24.8. Having things outside of your normal threshold level is absolutely pointless. So in this case, what you would do is you'll go through, let's see. I already have mine properly leveled. Perfect example. This Agnes right here. I don't need her stuff. I just want her XP back. You hit the little refresh thing over here and it'll reset. I'm not topping up. But it'll give you XP back. And you can go turn around and level up a different hero. And obviously by leveling them up, I don't know if I won't get a level out of this yet. Each time you level them, you get a static power boost on top of these stats at the bottom going up. As you see, for example, this infantry health. Between my stars and my level, I have a plus 10.6%. I believe the 14 is the buff for when you're in polar desert. But for example, once you actually get going, something like your Hypatia, which is something everyone should honestly have, at 5 stars it gives a massive boost. 2% total attack, and all of these stats go directly into it. Now, when it comes to choosing which hero you want, that is up to each and every person. So, in my personal cases and what I've seen with other players is they'll run maybe one S-grade hero and run 4 A's. This is because A's fragments are much easier to get and star up. As you see, I've been running this character forever. I haven't been focusing heavily into them, but I haven't even gotten to 2-star my Genghis or even 3-star my Alex. Yet, I have 4 3-star A heroes. So how this works when it comes to assigning your heroes. Yeah, wrong button. Alright, so you bring up the appoint tab. Each one has its own specialty. The only thing that changes is your general, but that's something I'll explain in a moment. Your guard commander, you can go Mary, you can go Richard. I personally like Richard because he gives infantry stats, and I like my infantry being stronger because of the front line. When it comes to your cavalry, I have seen people run Altai, Genghis, and Cleopatra. I prefer Cleo because it gives the health boosts and it gives a little bit to archers and attack. People run Altai because they want cav defense and a little bit more of a defensive line. People run Genghis because he has decent in terms of general lineups. But in my personal experience, as you see right here, Cleopatra, in my case, beats it due to level 1 star. You want to equip your highest stars and then level them as high as you can, as long as they follow your stat line. Like, here's an example, General. So in this case, I have 3 choices that are 3 stars, not including the golds. So in this case, I chose Bartley because I like the infantry health, infantry attack, and cav attack. If I wanted to go a little bit more defensive and archer based, I can go over with Eric, which is not a bad choice. I just prefer infantry over archer at this point in my build, But if you want to go with that, that's fine. The general can equip any troop type, any hero type, as you see in the top right over here. So each one that you equip, those stats go directly to you, but however, all of these in this list right here don't do anything for you unless you have them appointed, which is why I have my specific lines appointed. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense. However, what you can do also, and this is something else I wanted to explain to y'all, is there's this recruitment store on the top left. When you're short of frags to level up certain ones that you want to get, go ahead and use your little spirit things from recruiting all today, and you will get stuff. See? Just do that every day, whatever you want to do. Same thing down here. There's the exact same store for the advanced. And underneath each store is this probability counter. If you want to focus a specific hero, like I usually chose Hypatia before I swapped because my Hypatia is already 5 stars, you highlight this one and you can go ahead and do recruits, and you will be more likely to get her fragments. It's not a complete thing, but it's just how it usually runs. Whenever you do a 5 or a 10 or whatever, it'll have a higher drop chance. It won't be perfect, but that's how it works. Now, when it comes to your research, I noticed that there's a little bit of a conundrum about this. You want to go into your military research the most if you can. Development's great, so is defense, but military is where you get the most of your abilities from. As you see, oh, wrong button. I have the Massive March, Emergency Recall, and Free Teleport on my current lineup. That changes with each one. So, when it comes to talents, this is the other thing that was a little bit confusing for people. Let me go up top. So, when it came to talents, I personally went against defense for the most part. I went health, attack, recall, and then I went all into health, all into attack, and I went one into defense, because you only need one of the previous ones to go to the next. So I went infantry health, infantry attack. I skipped infantry defense, because defense doesn't mean a thing if you're always hitting people. And then I maxed out the healths over here just so they can live a little longer. Massive March obviously makes your march size bigger. Same thing here. I went all attacks, skipped defense but one to unlock the next row. And that's how I pretty much pushed throughout with my talents. When it comes to battle talents, this is probably the best way to go. It gives you immediate buffs that you need to use. Defense is good if you know you're going to be a trap account or you know you don't want to be hyper aggressive, but you guys like blowing shit up, so I don't see that being a problem. The other thing I'm going to explain to you guys are these glory badges. So when it comes to these badges, it's a little confusing at first. However, the ones you want to invest in the most are the ones that give you the most benefit to your abilities. So as you see, I went very heavy into infantry attack, some archer attack, some siege attack, and most of these are just 5 to 10% boosts, but all of those add up very heavily over a while. Health, defense, attack, and damage received are probably the most important stats that you can get from here. So, for example, my infantry damage received right here is rather important, because that means my infantry does a little bit more damage, but they also take 7.5% less damage as a general thing. So there's that. Just a quick rundown as well. When you're running your lion, you want to make sure you're running pretty decent lion skills. And I personally run high revive, march capacity, general damage, and block damage. That's kind of been my thing. And whenever you're doing these also, make sure you have them all equipped. That's something I don't think many people catch on to very well. Obviously, with developmental skills as well, I went all on the monster because killing monsters, etc., etc. And there's that. Hopefully, that gave you guys a little bit of a look into what happens. Also, before I forget, your gear as well makes a difference. You only really need battle gear, in my own opinion. So running battle gear obviously is great, but in terms of the economy gear, it doesn't give you as much of a boost unless you're a heavy farmer, which I'm not. I'm lazy as shit. So auxiliary's okay in terms of training. Like, for example, I'll take this training helmet every so often if I know I'm going to go on a training binge. But when it comes to this stuff, you just want to make sure you got all your gear at least up to blue. I'm working on my first purple, so hopefully that stuff will improve my stats as well. Alright guys, and here's that for you. Don't have too much fun with all this information. Don't be afraid to ask me questions. I'm always available to help you. Take care, guys.